Illinois Congressman and Air National Guard pilot Congressman Adam Kinzinger is here. Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening.
Well, that's terrifying. The refugee resettlement program, the Secretary of Homeland Security warning us.
Right. Well, I mean this respectfully to the Secretary, but duh. I mean, this is obvious that, they can infiltrate this way. They've said it in social media posts. They obviously want to attack us here at home. This is quite obvious. Interestingly, so we have Iraqi and Afghan translators that fought with our troops that are still waiting to come here despite being promised basically citizenship or at least a green card to the United States, that sometimes our Secretary of State, our State Department hasn't been able to fully vet, but yet we want to open the doors, some want to open the doors to this huge flood of refugees. This is a warning sign and something we ought to take very seriously.
Which is sort of disgraceful. People helped us, we promised we'd help, they could come here, and now we're making it impossible. All right, the refugees resettlement program, and now obviously people are terrified that ICE is going to come there. But I don't think though that you necessarily have to come here to the United States for ISIS to infiltrate us. We've seen that through social media. I mean, they have people perhaps here in the United States who are very interested in having a jihadist call. Yeah, we have to start thinking in a 21st century way about terror. That includes things like Facebook, Instagram, whatever the next thing is, they're using it. They're very social media savvy. So Congress needs to figure out, and the president needs to figure out, what tools do they need to monitor this when we have people coming over from overseas, like we saw with this terrorist in California. We need to look at their Facebook posts, their social media accounts. Have they expressed any kind of sympathy to jihadism? That's a huge red flag. And look, you're never going to be able to stop all terror because you can't screen for people's hearts and intentions. But if they're very open about their sympathies and their feelings, we darn sure ought to be able to find that, and we need to get our butts in gear to figure out how to do it. All right, viewers, I want to know what you think. Vote on Twitter. Do you fear ISIS will enter the United States as fake refugees? Tweet yes or no using hashtag Greta. And we're going to show you your live Twitter votes throughout the show. Congressman, what do you think of Secretary Johnson and President Obama and their effort to keep us safe? I mean, there's a lot of criticism, certainly, of their dealing with ISIS overseas, but what about here?
Well, I mean, look, we weakened the Patriot Act to an extent. Let's figure out maybe if that was too weak, what do we need to do? Are there other areas we need to talk about? Maybe ways to monitor certain social media posts, not getting into your email and reading your emails. I think part of the reason people feel unsafe, not just by what's actually going on, which is bad enough, but they feel like they have a commander-in-chief that doesn't understand. He gives an Oval Office address, and he's the only president I've ever seen give an Oval Office address that comes out worse than when he went in to give it. And I think people just feel uncomfortable.
I think that, the homegrown terrorists are really hard to detect. They're really hard for any government, any administration to do. But, it's really the American people who have to police for this one. They've got to report if they see something weird. The American people have got to partner up with the administration.
Well, that's right. And you have in this somewhat PC culture, or very PC culture, somebody may see somebody that looks Middle Eastern and see something suspicious, and they're scared to say something because they don't want to appear as racist or discriminatory.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
You bet. Thanks.
And CNN.